Hello everyone, myself Shakuntala from Gurudev Academy, Dharwad. I am here again with the questions of mock test 3 and I am going to solve the biology part. Apart from biology, I am going to solve with zoology here. So the first question of zoology is, a technique of direct introduction of ova into the oviduct is called as. So here the question indicates that we are transferring the ova. Now the ova is considered as an gamete and we are transferring the gamete into the oviduct. Now this oviduct is also called as the fallopian tube here. So the right options to this question is whether it is IVF, that is in vitro fertilization, whether it is embryo transfer, or whether it is IUI, that is intrauterine transfer, insemination, or it is gift, that is gamete intrafallopian transfer. As we are transferring this ova into the oviduct or into the fallopian tube here, so the right answer will be that is gift, that is gamete intrafallopian transfer. Embryo transfer is we are transferring the embryo up to what? Up to so here embryo transfer is nothing but we are going to transfer the early embryo up to the 8 blastomeres, then it is called as embryo transfer. IVF, already it is known that the fertilization which is taking place in the laboratory condition. IUI, that is intrauterine insemination, that is artificial introduction of semen into the uterus directly. So the right option is with option D here, that is gift. Now the next question is, select the correct sequence from the given option. So here this is the question which is going to arise from the human reproduction. So they have given how exactly the sperm is going to be formed and what are the terms which are going to be used during the production of the sperms here. So here the spermiogenesis, spermatogenesis and spermation. So I will make you clear that what is the definition of spermatogenesis. Spermatogenesis is nothing but the process of production of sperms here. Second one is spermiogenesis. Spermiogenesis is nothing but the conversion of spermatids into spermatozoa, and spermiation is nothing but the release of spermatozoa from the Sertoli cells or from the nurse cell and released into the lumen of seminiferous tubule here. So here what exactly the sequence is. So here I told you that first thing will be always the spermatogenesis, that is formation of sperms. Once the formation of sperms takes place, so after secondary spermatocyte the spermatids are produced here and these spermatids are converted into spermatozoa and that is called as spermiogenesis here. So that is the second event here, and the third event is these spermatozoa to get nourishment from the Sertoli cell, they get adhered to the Sertoli cell and they get nourishment and then they are released into the lumen of seminiferous tubule. So according to this sequence, so which will be the right option? So first one will be spermatogenesis. So spermatogenesis here, okay. So spermatogenesis will be the first option. Where is this? Spermiogenesis, spermatogenesis, spermiation, spermatogenesis, spermiation, spermiogenesis, spermatogenesis. Okay, spermiogenesis, then comes the spermiation. So option C is the right answer for the question number 137. Yes, a child with O blood group has a father with blood group O, blood group B, then what will be the genotype of the father here? Now if you consider the genotype of the mother, there are three possibilities. One is IA, that is A blood group, second one is IB, that is B blood group, and third one is the homozygous, that is O blood group here. Now if you are considering this, so we are considering the blood group of mother, that is it is IO here, that is O blood group crossed with B here. Then if you see it is IBI, then it is going to be again IBI. So the blood group of the genotype of the father will be what? Will be the heterozygous, and the heterozygous condition will be, that is IBI. This will be the right answer. So the next question is, the oral contraceptive pill contains. So it is a question which is going to arise from the chapter called as reproductive health, which is called as the contraceptions here. So here progesterone estrogen combination, growth hormone, thyroxine hormone, luteinizing hormone. These three hormones are not going to be present in the contraceptive pill in order to control or in order to prevent the fertilization. Here oral pill contains either a combination of progesterone, estrogen, or it is only the progesterone or only the estrogen. So the right option will be option A. Next, which of the following is correct about the metamerism? You know that if a body is segmented, okay, metamerically means if the body contains segments, then that is called as segmented body. Then the segments are present both internal as well as external here. So the body has externally as well as internally divided into the segments. Then such what the mechanism is called metamerism here. Vandu. Innondu, in metamerism there is a repetition of only one organ, not so. Okay, earthworm is the only example of metamerism. Earthworm belongs to the phylum Annelida. So Annelida itself is nothing but annuli. Annuli are nothing but the segments here. So it is not only the example, I can call it as Nereis also. Nereis is one of the example of the segmented body here. Along with that we can take the leech, okay, which is a metamerically segmented body here, and all of this. It is the right option will be the body which is being divided externally and internally into the segments. Such process is called as the metamerism here. Yes. Now, which of the following is used as a source of butyric acid for the production of butyric acid? So, name the bacteria which is, or name the microorganism which is going to help in the production of butyric acid. So, butyric acid is going to be produced from this Clostridium botulicum. Okay, it is the bacteria which is going to be used for the production. This is a question which is going to arise from microbes in human welfare. One. Now, which among the following coexisted with Homo sapiens? Andre Homo sapiens jote yaru coexisted agidru, means along with them who survived. It was nothing but the Neanderthal man. So both what the Homo sapiens and the Neanderthal man, they started to serve from 75,000 to 10,000 years ago. Okay, so both they survived in the ice age anta heli karibodu. That is, along with the Homo sapiens, they were coexisted. That is, the Neanderthal man were coexisted here. One. Commercially, human insulin can be produced from a transgenic species here. Now, the transgenic species which is used for the production of insulin, yava vandu species anna ನಾವು ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ it is always the E. coli, that is Escherichia coli ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. So, Pseudomonas, they are not going to help as a transgenic here because they are going to cause the disease here. Saccharomyces cerevisiae is not so, okay, and as well as the mycobacteria too. Next. So, find the incorrect among the following statements here. Thoracic vertebrae, ribs and sternum together form the rib cage. Each rib is a thin, flat bone connected dorsally to the vertebral column and ventrally to the sternum here. First 7 pair of ribs are called as true. 10th, 11th, 12th pair of ribs are called as floating here. It is not 10th, but only 11th and 12th ribs are called as floating. But here 8, 9 and 10th. So these ribs are called as the false ribs here, as they are not connected to the sternum here. They are not the floating here. So here this option is the right because they have included 10th rib as an floating rib. Only there are 2 ribs. 1 to 7 ribs they are called as true. Then comes 8 to 10, they are called as the false ribs. Then comes 11 to 12, they are called as the floating ribs here. So the right option is option D here. The second one is 145. Question number 145. You know that polar bodies are produced during the formation of. When you see the spermatogenesis and oogenesis, polar bodies are always formed in the process of oogenesis. Oogenesis is nothing but the process of production of ova, but whereas spermatogenesis is nothing but the production of sperm in the testes here. So polar bodies are formed during the oogenesis, that is when the primary primary oocyte which is an diploid here. Now this primary oocyte, it is going to lead for the formation of first polar body due to unequal cytoplasmic cell division, and the second secondary oocyte which is an haploid here. This is called as secondary oocyte. Again this secondary oocyte will undergo the further meiotic division to form the second polar body and the ovum here. So these polar bodies are being formed by what? By either primary oocyte or by the secondary oocyte. Spermatogonial cells are not involved, spermatids are not involved, because these three are involved in the case of spermatogenesis, but whereas A, that is secondary oocyte, will are produced only by what? Only by the, polar bodies are produced only by the secondary oocyte here. Yes. Now, so this is an example from the biomolecules, or question from the biomolecules, and they have told you to match which enzymes or which biomolecules are going to be used here. The complete conjugate enzyme, which consists of a protein portion, is called as an apoenzyme here. So this is an apoenzyme here. 1. Dash is a non-protein cofactor which is loosely bound to an apoenzyme, is nothing but, as it is been bonded with an apoenzyme, then it will be an coenzyme here. So it is going to be an coenzyme. Then the third one will be the dash enzyme is used for removing of the blood clots inside the blood vessels. It is nothing but streptokinase. It is nothing but the streptokinase enzyme here. Streptokinase enzyme will help. So if you go along with this, match the following or fill in the blanks here. So first one is apoenzyme, second one is coenzyme, and third one is the streptoenzyme here. So according to this, the right option is, so it will be yes, it will be option C here. Next, the lobules, that is testicular lobules, are found in testes. How many lobules are found in an testis here? Now when you see that each testicular lobule is made up of 250 compartments of, each testis is made up of 250 compartments of testicular lobules, and when you consider each lobule, that each lobule is made up of 2 to 3 highly coiled seminiferous tubule, and these highly coiled seminiferous tubule is going to contain two types of cell. One is called as the Sertoli cell, and the second one is called as the spermatogonia, or they are called as spermatogonial mother cell here, Sertoli cell, or they are also called as nerve cells. So how many compartments each testis consists of? It consists of nearly about 250 compartments, that is testicular lobules in each testis here. So option C is the right answer here. Yes. Exochromosomal abnormality in human. So this is a question which is going to arise from chapter called as principle of inheritance here. Here this is an abnormality of chromosomal, that is addition or deletion of the chromosomes here. So exochromosomes, so whether it is an allosomal chromosomal abnormality or autosomal, automatically as it is an X0 here, the chromosomal abnormality will be allosomal chromosomal abnormality, means it is related to the sex chromosome here. So here if a normal female is going to have XX chromosome and a normal male is going to have XY chromosome here, if there is a deletion of one X chromosome, then it is going to lead to what? Lead to the Turner syndrome, and this Turner syndrome is always going to occur in the female here because there is a deletion of one X chromosome here. But what happens in Klinefelter syndrome? In Klinefelter syndrome, so it is going to occur in a male here. So in male, the condition is here there is an addition of one extra X chromosome. So the normal condition of male is going to be XX. So if there is an extra X addition of X chromosome, then the karyotype will be XXY here. So here it is going to be an XXY, which is going to be an feminine here. Down syndrome, it is also called as allosomal trisomy, or it is called as autosomal trisomy, or it is called as the 21st trisomy here, because on the 21st chromosome of autosomal there is an addition of one more extra chromosome here. and this Klinefelter syndrome, it is also called as allosomal trisomy because there is an addition of one extra chromosome. Edwards syndrome is due to the addition of one extra chromosome on the 18th chromosome. So this is on the 18th chromosome. If there is an addition of extra chromosome on the 18th chromosome, it leads to the Edwards syndrome here. So according to this, the exochromosomal abnormality results in which of the chromosomal disorder, that is going to occur in a female, and it is called as Turner's syndrome here. 1. The valve which allows blood to flow from ventricles into the arteries and not in the opposite direction. Now you know that our heart is made up of 4 chambers here, that is called as right atrium as well as the right ventricle here. Okay, so here it is the chambers here. So this is called as right atrium, this is left atrium, this is right ventricle, this is left ventricle. Between the arteries and this ventricle here, or the atrium and auricle or ventricle, there is an valve, they are called as AV valve, that is atrioventricular valve, which will prevent the flow back of the blood from ventricles back into the atrium or auricles here. Hagidre, second one is, again there are one more valve, they are called as semilunar valves, which gets open at the ventricle region, and here when this valve, okay, both AV valve as well as semilunar valve, okay, semilunar valve will help to prevent the flow back of the blood, okay, into the arteries and not in the opposite direction, that is AV valve, atrioventricular valve, which is present between what? Between the arteries and the, auricle and the ventricle, as well as the semilunar valve, which is being connected from both the the ventricles here. So the right option is option A. Now, in a muscle cell, the action potential is created. This event follows the release of calcium ions, which it is going to bind with, it is a direct question here, it is going to bind with troponin here. So here the Na plus ions, okay, so here Na plus ions, when it comes and binds to the muscle, okay, muscle, then the calcium ions which are present in a CR, that is sarcoplasmic endoplasmic reticulum here. So here from this endoplasmic reticulum of sarcoplasm, the calcium ions are released, and then directly they are going to go and bind with the protein filament called as troponin here. So option D is the right answer. Which of the following statements about human pregnancy and fetal development is incorrect? So here the blastocyst, the blastula, which is about 32 blastomeres here, in fetal development that appears early during the 3rd trimester, it is not going to appear early. Before this there is an morula of the stage of 8 to 16 stage, then it is called as a morula. So morula is the early embryo here which is going to occur, it is not the blastula. Next comes a vital connection between the mother and the fetal is going to be occur through the placenta. Yes, it is a physiological connection. Third one is most of the growth in the fetal size occurs during the 2nd and the 3rd trimester. Yes, that is from the 4th to 9th month. Yes, automatically there is an increase in the the size of the person, size of the embryo or the fetus. All major organs are formed by the end of the fetus first 3 months of the life year, right? So which of the following statement about the human pregnancy and the fetal is incorrect? So the incorrect is in the 3rd trimester, the early embryo, that is not the blastocyst, it is always the morula here. So this is going to be an incorrect answer. Yes. Now read the given statements and select the options here. Statement 1, interferons are a type of antibodies produced by the body cells infected by bacteria here. Okay. The statement 2 says that interferons are the cytokine barriers. Yes, this is right. But here interferons are the proteins which are being released by an infected virus. So virus in the infected ಆಗಿರುವಂತಹ cells ಒಂದು protein ಅನ್ನು release ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ. ಆ protein interferons ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. Now this protein will help to protect the other cells which are not infected from the virus here. So here statement 1 is wrong, okay, and statement 2 is right. So which is the right option here? Statement 1 is incorrect, but statement 2 is correct. So option D is the right answer. Now here in a neuron, the sodium potassium pump in an active transports, and it is a direct question here, where the sodium, that is Na plus ions, move into the neuron, and the K ions, that is potassium, move out of the neuron here, that is in the axon here, on the membrane of the axons, to maintain the osmolarity or the polarity. Next, assertion of question number 154. Neurohypophysis is under the direct regulation of hypothalamus. Yes, neurohypophysis is nothing but, when you see here, this is the hypothalamus. Next, hypothalamus is been connected with the pituitary gland. Now this anterior pituitary is called as adenohypophysis. It is called as adenohypophysis. And this is anterior pituitary, and this is going to be the posterior pituitary. Posterior pituitary is called as what? It is called as neurohypophysis. Neurohypophysis. Now anterior pituitary is going to secrete, and between anterior and posterior there is an medium called as pars intermedia here. There is an pars intermedia here. Now with the help, now anterior pituitary is going to secrete, or adenohypophysis is going to secrete totally 6 hormones here, and the list of the 6 hormones are: one is GH, one is FSH, one is TSH, one is LH, okay, it is going to be the LH, and the ACTH, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and it is going to be PRL, that is prolactin hormone. Pars intermedia is going to secrete only one hormone, that is called as MSH here. But neurohypophysis is not going to secrete any of the hormone, but it is going to store 2 hormones. It is going to just store 2 hormones, and the name of the 2 hormones are, one is called as oxytocin, and the second one is called as ADH, or we call it as vasopressin here. Vasopressin. Hagidre ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಬರೀ ಸ್ಟೋರ್ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ ಅಂದರೆ, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಸೆಕ್ರೆಟ್ ಯಾರು ಮಾಡ್ತಾರಪ್ಪ ಅಂತಂದರೆ, ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಆಲ್ವೇಸ್ ಸೆಕ್ರೆಟೆಡ್ ಬೈ whom? Hypothalamus here. So hypothalamus is going to secrete these 2 hormones, but they are going to be stored in the neurohypophysis. So I have clearly explained you what exactly here the question is. Neurohypophysis is under the direct regulation of hypothalamus. Yes, it is right. Neurohypophysis stores and releases 2 hormones called oxytocin and vasopressin, which are usually synthesized by the hypothalamus. Yes, both the options are right. That is both assertion and reason are true, and reason is the correct explanation of the assertion here. So which is the right option? So option A is the right here. Which of the following statements are correct? Wine is produced without distillation or of fermented broth. Yes, wine is a non-distilled the beverages here. Whereas whiskey is produced by the distillation. Yes, automatically they are distilled beverages. Beverages are being classified into 2 types. One is distilled and one is non-distilled. In the distilled we are going to include rum, brandy and the whiskey. And in the non-distilled beverages we are going to have the 2 beverages, that is, one is beer and the second one is the wine, and there is a clear-cut explanation for this. Wine is produced without distillation. Whiskey is produced by the distillation of the fermented broth. Beer is produced by distillation. No, it is not an distilled one here, means there is no filtration further. It is non-distillation. And the second option, it is a brandy and rum are produced without distillation of the, no, they are produced with the distillation here. So the right option will be will be wine is produced without distillation and whiskey is produced by the distillation. So option A and option 2 are right here. So here when you go option 1 and option 2, so this will be the option A is the right here. Commercially, on a large scale, ethyl alcohol is obtained by, it is always by the fermentation here. Fermentation of what? Of the this Saccharomyces cerevisiae, which will help in the production of the alcohol here. Next, a person was suffering from the following symptoms. The symptoms were as follows, that is destructions in the wall of the alveoli, then the decreased respiratory surface area, that is there is no intake or that is less intake of oxygen here. And the third one is the disease he suffered from was mostly likely to caused due to, one is allergy, second one is influenza virus, whether cigarette smoking or streptococcus pneumonia, it is due to the smoking of cigarette here. It is a disorder of respiratory disorder here. Next, gynecomastia is caused due to, gynecomastia is a condition which is being observed in an Klinefelter syndrome here. Klinefelter syndrome, I previously told you, it is observed in the male here. So where the condition is going to be XXY, where there is an there is an addition of extra X chromosome. Gynecomastia is nothing but a condition in which the enlargement of the mammary gland takes place in the male individual here, and this enlargement is due to high secretion of estrogen, which is a female sex hormone, and the low secretion of the testosterone, that is the male sex hormone here. So which will be the right option? Excessive secretion of estrogen, yes, then excessive secretion of testosterone, not so, it is decreased here. Decreased secretion of the testosterone, so which will be the right option? Option A and option C both, so the right option will be option D here. Now, in a sickle cell anemia, now sickle cell anemia, it is an autosomal disorder here. What exactly happens in the sickle cell anemia here is, so here it is an hemoglobin with the peptide bonds here, alpha and beta. Now on the beta chain, sixth position, on the chain, beta chain of sixth position, so here GAG, that is glutamic acid, it is being replaced by the valine, that is GUG, which is an example for point mutation, just a change in a single nitrogen, that is adenine is been replaced by the uracil on the sixth position of the beta chain. Hence the RBC shape, that is a biconcave shape of the RBC, is been converted into what? It is been converted into the sickle shape here. So this is the condition, and let me see here. So sickle cell anemia is an autosome linked recessive trait that can be transmitted from parents if both the parents are carriers here, and this disease is controlled by the single pair of gene, that is HbA, hemoglobin A and hemoglobin S here, of three possible genotypes of the homozygous individual for this, and our leader select the right option in which X, Y and Z are correctly identified. So here this is the normal hemoglobin chain A and the genes here, so which have been undergone transcription and translation to form the mRNA. At the same time here they have given the mRNA sequence, that is called as GUG, and they have told us to identify what is X and what is Y. So it will be the complementary base pairs of Y and X here. So GUG, as this is an mRNA, now this mRNA is going to be formed from the DNA here. Then you have to find the complementary base pairs which is present on the X as well as Y here. So here complementary base pair will be what? G is going to replaced by C in the DNA, U is going to be replaced by T here, okay, and it is going to be again C, that is CTC, and here when you go with X, or sorry, when you go with this X here, C that is G, T that is A, and C that is again what? G here. So here GAG, CTC and GUG. So let us see the option here. It is GTG, okay, GTG, GTG, CAG, and the last one is the valine here. So this will be the right option. So GTG, CAC as well as the valine. Right, erythroblastosis fetalis. So where the mother, okay, will start to kill the RBC of the fetus here only in a condition when the female blood group is Rh negative and the male with Rh positive here. Direct question. A bag-like vascularized structure with a network of bronchioles. Now here the bronchioles are always present in the lungs, they are not present in the brain, not in the heart, not in the liver. It is a direct question and an easy question too. Lack of independent assortment of two genes A and B in a fruit fly Drosophila is due to. Okay, so here it is when the two genes are present on the chromosomes, then they are going to present on the same loci and they are associated closely. When they are associated closely, okay, then they are going to inherit to the next generation here, and that is due to the linkage. We call it as linkage. Due to the linkage, there is a lack of what? There is a lack of independent assortment of two genes, because whenever they are going to inherit, they are both A and B genes which are present on the same chromosome, which are lying to very close to each other, then they are going to inherit here. So it is due to linkage here. It is not due to incomplete dominance and it is not due to the recombination. If it is recombination, then both the the genes has to be present on the different loci of the chromosome here, then only there is an recombination and there is no exchange of the the genetic material, and it is a part of the meiosis here. Which of the following statements are false? The outer cortex and inner medulla are the two zones in the kidney. Medulla is divided, yes, into the few medullary pyramids. Medullary pyramids project into the calyx, that is, if you see the transverse section of a kidney here, so these are called as medullary pyramids here, and they are present with the the medullary rays here, so which are interconnected with the calyx here. So here these are nothing but right, and inward extension of a cortex between the pyramid is called as a renal column of Bertin. So here all the statements are true here, so the option will be none of this. At the time of fertilization, spermatozoa secrete a chemical from, so fertilization agubekadre, so idu egg ittu, eggige sperm fertilize agbeku antandre, so here there is an there is an acrosome here which is going to which is going to help to secrete secrete the lytic enzyme which will break the layers of layers of the egg and helps in the penetration. So it is always the lytic enzymes are present in the acrosome which will help in breakage, or which is going to break the layers of eggs here, that is zona pellucida, okay, corona radiata. So the right option will be option D. Next, operon. Operon is a set of closely linked genes regulating a metabolism pathway in prokaryotes. It is the sequence of 3 nitrogen bases determining the single amino acids. If it is a sequence of 3 nitrogen bases, for example AUG, then this 3 nitrogen sequence, they are called as codons, and these codons are going to code for the particular protein, here, and it is not called as an operon here. Then the sequence of nitrogen bases in mRNA, messenger RNA, which codes for a single amino acid, a gene responsible for switching on or switching off of other gene, not so. So it is nothing but the set of closely linked genes regulating the metabolism pathway in the prokaryotes here, that is Jacob and Monod. Lac operon concept was given by him, Jacob and Monod. Okay, they are nothing but, operon is nothing but set of closely linked genes here. So option A is the right answer. Then the amount of oxygen transported in 1 liter of blood is, it is a direct question, it is a 50 ml of the oxygen here. Next, study the statement given below and answer the following question. Vigorous contraction of the X at the end of the Y causes the expulsion of a fetus. If there is a contraction of a uterus, then there is at the end of pregnancy it leads to the expulsion, that is expelling out of the fetus. So here vigorous contraction of uterus. Uterus means which part of uterus is going to be contracted at the end of Y. At the end of Y is nothing but during the process of parturition. Okay, parturition. Let us see the option now. One is vagina, X is vagina and fertilization. One is, yes, that is uterus and during the pregnancy here, that is during the parturition process, the uterus. So from the vigorous contraction of the X at the end of the pregnancy, during the parturition time, the uterus gets contracted to expel out the fetus. So the right option will be option B, that is X is uterus and the Y is pregnancy here. Now, study the pedigree chart given below. What it shows? It is nothing but it shows the best example for phenylketonuria, which is an autosomal recessive trait. This pedigree chart is wrong as it is not possible, not so. Inheritance of recessive sex linked like hemophilia, not so. And inheritance of sex linked inborn errors of metabolism like myotonic dystrophy, it is not. So the right option is option A here. This is the best example pedigree chart of phenylketonuria here. Right, now with question number next. The correct sequence of stages in the evolution of Homo sapiens is. So according to this, which one will be the correct one? First one is Homo erectus, not so. Australopithecus, Neanderthal man, then comes the modern man. Option B, Neanderthal man comes first, and then Australopithecus, then Homo erectus, then modern man, not so. Australopithecus, Neanderthal, Neanderthal, next Homo erectus, modern man, not. First comes Australopithecus, then comes Homo erectus, third one is Neanderthal, and the last one is the modern man here. So option D is the right answer. Next, select the correctly matched pair. Yes, blood pressure ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಆಯಿತು ಅಂದರೆ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ನಾವು ಹೈಪರ್ ಟೆನ್ಷನ್ ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. ಬ್ಲಡ್ ಪ್ರೆಷರ್ ಲೋ ಆಯಿತು ಅಂತಂದರೆ ನಾವು ಹೈಪೋಟೆನ್ಷನ್ ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ದ ಪ್ರೆಷರ್ ಫಾರ್ ದಿಸ್ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ನಾರ್ಮಲ್ ಬ್ಲಡ್ ಪ್ರೆಷರ್ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ 90 mmHg. 80 mmHg. If it is above 120 by 80 mmHg, then it is going to be hypertension. If it is less than 120 by 80 mmHg, then it is going to be the low, that is hypotension here. One angina pectoris, that is coronary artery disease. One acute chest pain anta ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ, where there is a deposition of the cholesterol here. Heart failure, it is an congestive heart failure, all of this. So none of the options are mismatched here, they are correctly matched. So all of the above are correctly matched. Next question. Which among the following is considered as a source of tDNA, that is transfer DNA, which is going to be here. So Ti plasmid, that is Agrobacterium tumefaciens, is going to be the source of tDNA here. Next question. Which of the following substances reported to cause chill and fever in malaria? Now this question was asked likely to be in the CET question here, previous 2025. The malignant stage of Plasmodium. Which was the malignant species of Plasmodium here? It was Plasmodium falciparum here. That is the malignant which leads to death of the person here. And malaria is caused due to Plasmodium vivax here, species of Plasmodium vivax, and it is going to be transferred from person to person through a vector called as a female Anopheles mosquito here. Now, when the sporozoids are nothing but the causative agent of the Plasmodium vivax here, or the infective stage of Plasmodium vivax. Now here, when this sporozoid enters into a healthy person, first and foremost they are going to invade into the liver cells, and first liver cell attack ಮಾಡ್ತಾವ, then they multiply asexually here, then they next move into the RBC cells, again they are going to multiply into the RBC. Once there is a rupture of RBC cells, the sporozoids are going to be released, and there is a release of a toxic chemical, and the name of the chemical is hemozoin, which leads to the chill here. It is leading to the chill for every 2 to 3 days or 1 or 2 days here. ಒಂದೊಂದು ದಿನ ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಚಿಲ್ ನಡುಗುವುದು ಏನು ಬರುತ್ತಲ್ಲ that is due to the hemozoin chemical, it is due to the rupture of RBC here. Next, select the correct pair of the following here. So they have given the question of the breathing and exchange of gases. So tidal volume, IRV, that is IRV, inspiratory reserve volume, VC, vital capacity, and RV, that is the the respiratory volume here. So which among the following the tidal volume should be what? Should be the 500 ml. IRV and VC, that is vital capacity, and the residual volume, they are not that much here. You just check it once. Select the correct pair out of the following. So prawn belongs to which phylum? So they have given some of the names of the organisms and with their functions here. Prawn with the Malpighian tubules means they are the excretory organs here. Earthworm, radula is not going to match with earthworm here, because earthworm belongs to phylum Annelida. Radula, it is an rasping type of mouth parts of mollusca. It is a mollusca here. Then crustaceans, in crustaceans flame cells are not present, they are present in the flatworms here, that is in the case of the the liver fluke here, okay. And flatworms, they don't have comb plates here. Comb plates are present in the comb jellies, okay. So here as a tentacles here. So the right option will be prawns, as prawn belong to the arthropoda here. It is where they are going to excrete with the Malpighian tubules here. Next question. Microbes that are highly beneficial in genetic engineering are, one is yes, these are the two organisms. One is E. coli as well as Agrobacterium tumefaciens. They are beneficial in the genetic engineering. They are going to be used as a plasmid too, okay. Next, read the following statement and select the correct option. Contact of sperm with zona pellucida layer during fertilization makes change in the membrane which block the entry of additional sperms here. So first one, and the second statement is completion of meiosis 2 during oogenesis converts the secondary oocyte into an fertilized egg. It is not going to convert into fertilized egg here. So statement 1 is correct, but statement 2 is not so, okay. So option B is the right answer. Next, question number 2, match the following of column 1 with the column 2 and select the option here. So right, yes, so these options has to be present here. By mistake they have been shifted here. So vector borne disease, one is airborne disease, and through contaminated food and water, and fungal disease. So vector borne disease is always the malaria. So this is going to be the malaria, and so it should be option B here. It should be malaria, okay. So here it should be pneumonia. So I am just writing the options here. I am not matching it properly, and here it should be ringworm according to this question, and the last one is typhoid. Now you match. Now that should be matching, okay. So vector borne disease will be always the malaria. So A is with 2. Airborne disease here, then through the contaminated food and water. So airborne disease will be pneumonia, okay, because it is being transmitted through the inhaling of the droplets of the infected person. Next comes through the contaminated food and water, it is always the typhoid here, and the fungal disease is being caused by, or ringworm is an fungal disease. So I have matched it, and just see the option here. So A is with 2, okay, A is 2, and B is 1, okay, C is 4, and D is 3. So this will be the right option. So 2 1 4 3, it is 2 1 4 3, okay. Option A is the right option, okay. Now identify PQR and S and select the correct option, that is juxtaglomerular cells. they are going to secrete renin. Okay, so renin is a chemical here, okay, which is going to help in conversion of angiotensin 1 into angiotensin 2. Then comes, okay, so ANF, renin, angiotensinogen, and they are being going to act on the adrenal cortex, and they will help in which will help in the absorption of Na plus ions. So the right option will be this. In order to this renin angiotensin mechanism is going to take place when there is an decreased GFR, that is glomerular filtration rate. That is, if there is an decreased blood pressure in the blood vessels, then automatically renin angiotensin mechanism is going to take place here. Yes, so last but one question. Assertion, that is Miller observed formation of some amino acid in his apparatus. Yes, it is right here. Miller used 4 gases. One is methane, oxygen. Did he use oxygen? Not so. He has not got the oxygen. Hydrogen and water vapor. Instead of oxygen, it would be methane. Methane gas. So he has used 4 gases. One is methane, one is ammonia, one is hydrogen, and the last one is the water vapor here. So A is correct, but reason is not correct here. A is not B. A is correct, but R is incorrect. That is, reason is incorrect here. Last question. The enzyme commonly used in genetic engineering are, so this is a question from biotechnology here. So enzymes which are used in genetic engineering to cut the DNA at the restricted site, we are going to use the restriction endonuclease, as well as to join it back we are going to use the molecular stitches, that is called as the ligase enzyme here. So these are the questions which we have solved today of question of mock test 3. Thank you for watching. Do subscribe. Shiva.